So I'm Allie. Thanks for being on. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you. Thanks, Ellie. Hi, everyone. I'm Lara Portelli from Australia. I am a lady in middle age, which people used to shy away from. And now I have realised, since going through beginning this journey myself, um, I like to call it midlife clarity. So that's what I've been doing some work around. And I call it my second act. So that's what I've been doing some work around and helping other women and people through this journey as well. So that's me. I do lots of stuff. I write books. I keynote speak, and I do podcasts.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
great. Well, so I'm sure you're very busy.
yeah, yeah. Life's busy, but life's busy for everybody, right?
That's very true. Okay. So today we're just going to talk about some privilege guilt. So did you ever realize that maybe you had a privilege that others didn't, whether that was like educational, monetary, um, it could be anything that you would consider quote unquote privilege?
My privilege may be a bit different. People's perception um, of my privilege. I grew up very different to most other people. I grew up in a home where my mum left when I was 3 years old, and it was a lot of turbulent times in my childhood. Uh, I went through a lot of childhood abuse and trauma, and a lot of people, I think, wrote myself and my family off, that we were going to be nobodies, that we're below the poverty line. We were just destined to be no one, because we were being brought up in Australia by in those days it was called a migrant father, like from a non-English speaking background, and it was perceived that we were always going to be no one, end up nowhere. And we went on, all three of us went on and did, the three children in the family went on and did really well, actually. And it was perceived um, that we were privileged, that we were lucky, that we were fortunate, that, uh, the wrong idea was, I think, projected to the world, that, somewhere along the line you must have got all this help, and you were privileged, and that we must have got all this welfare help, and dad must have got this and must have got that. Well, it was the mid-70s, for heaven's sakes. In Australia, a man of European culture bringing up three children on his own was foreign to start with, and we got no privilege, no help, no, we didn't, like, I know myself, I didn't get to go on any school excursions or things like that. But the perception, Ali, that what people think, you must be getting privilege that we're not. The children at school, you must be getting things we're not, even though I had one school uniform that I would wear all week, because that's all I had, was one. But the
Mhm.
perception that people think is that we had privilege, but the privilege wasn't external. It was that we had the resolve and the will and the skill to make something of our life. But it was not a privilege. But the perception was there that we had privilege, and it's still there today. You must be lucky. You're lucky.
Right, right. I think people who are hard workers, whether that's natural born hard workers or you learn exactly what you don't want to be, so you work hard. Um, Unfortunately, I feel like that's a line. Wow, must be nice that you're so lucky you have all that. Well,
Mm,
I'm not. I worked hard for that,
yeah,
as I'm sure
exactly.
you all did too.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of feelings were you having, either maybe when you were a child when people were saying that and it wasn't true, versus now that you're an adult and you've done all these great things and you've worked hard to get where you are?
It's still like it's still not hard to work with or deal with, but it's something that I continue to work through, because I sometimes feel guilt. Not sometimes, a lot of time feel guilt. I look at her look at her, you know. And when I got married to my ex-husband, we lived in a modest 3-bedroom home in the suburb where I grew up. But it was this perception, I'd look at her, Mrs. So-and-so up there on the hill. Privilege, it had nothing to do with privilege. Again, working hard. But to answer your question, I just keep being a good person and working through the feelings of, well, I can't control what people are thinking. I can only continue to be a good person at the end of each day, look at myself in the mirror and go, I've helped as many people as I can today. And I can't really control what other people are thinking or their perception about me.
Right.
But that guilt is there, that I didn't conform to what people thought I should have ended up being. When we talk
Right. And
about,
I think that's a funny, it's not funny, but it's kind of a silly thing to think of, right? Like someone wanted people were expecting you to be absolutely nothing. And the
mm,
fact that you are something makes you feel guilty. And it's really a shame that you have to feel that way even now, this
yeah,
late.
but I really like your work because I like that, that you talk about the quiet stuff out loud that people are feeling, and I love that you're having the conversations that matter,
Thank
uh,
you.
and the things that are hard to talk about.
Right.
That
I
and
think it's just go ahead.
unfiltered. I love that we're too filtered, right? So instead of me having the ability, which I do have the ability, but to be able to project that and say, well, in Australia, there's a saying kind of like nick off. I've worked hard for this. But why do we shrink and why do we just think, oh, whatever, let them think that we filter? We do, we filter things and just put up with it. There's a societal, expectation that we just put up, shut up, filter, and get on with it, don't we?
That's very true.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm,
We don't wanna hurt somebody's feelings. We don't wanna, you know, make people, change their mind because you told them one bad thing about something. Um, I'm kind of like a real I feel like I'm a realist. Not n I would rather know the good and the bad when
mm,
I'm doing something or when I'm about to make a decision or even going through life, right? I think
mm,
certain things aren't really fully told to us, whether we were kids or even as adults. Um, so I really started this because there were times in my life, especially after I had a child, um, that I felt like I was completely alone. I was afraid to talk to anybody because I thought that I was having the most crazy thoughts and feelings. And then it turned out it was like, no, that's what happens. I'm like, why don't we talk about this stuff?
mm,
Why is no one ever talking about things like this?
mm,
'Cause it's so easy just to sit in silence and just put up and shut up, like you said.
mm. Where's this fear come from? That fear of not being accepted, fear of being judged, fear. It pretty much, I think, boils down to fear, doesn't
Yeah,
it? We
yeah,
filter everything. Should I say that? What if they don't like me? Will I fit in that crowd? Um, why are they judging me? Why I don't have to live up to, in your heart and your soul that I don't have to fit in to think that I was meant to end up being nothing or unworthy, or but why can't we articulate that? Or like you were saying, um, some of the thoughts you were having, why couldn't you feel comfortable to talk to someone or articulate that? Yeah.
right,
Yeah, or being the mum in the supermarket with the child going absolutely crazy and you just want to be unfiltered, right?
right, right.
Like I saw yesterday, a woman just absolutely going nuts at the poor shop attendant. Obviously, she was having a really bad day. She was really unfiltered. And people were judging her. But there's something going on. There's usually something deeper, isn't there?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, I don't know why it is like that, but I wish it wasn't. So,
Yeah.
let's see. So you mentioned that you did have some guilt that, people were having these perceptions of you. How do you think that, like, molded your relationships with people?
Uh, it's it's still to a degree, it was hard for me to trust people and still is to a degree because it may be me too. I can see sometimes the way they look or some conversations. Um, yeah, it's just a weird vibe sometimes. You know,
Mhm,
I usually walk in a room and I can just feel. I think sometimes when you've been through a lot in life, you you tend to be a bit more of an empath, so you can pick up on other people's vibes, but you also get a strong intuition of what people are feeling, or what they make. Well, you can't always know what people are thinking, of course, but a lot of the times I'm right. And I before I was like went through quite a bad domestic violent marriage. um I was really loud and gregarious and not up in people's face, but had a really big, bold personality. And people often mistook that for, oh God, she's loud and abrasive and brash. Um, but that's not the case at all. Like, I'd give you the shirt off my back and I have a heart as big as the world. So, again, it's people's perceptions. And I think, again, we need to get to know people before we judge, and including me. So yeah, I just really take people as now as an adult, it's a lot easier to go, okay, if you well, that's how you are, and that's how you are towards me. Um, but when you're younger, it's a bit different. You want
right,
people to like you, right?
right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think as
that's
an adult, it's a bit different, but it's hard when you're a teenager or I want to fit into that crowd. Why don't you like me? Um, And people are different for different reasons. Like if you've been through a lot of trauma in your life, that can make you withdrawn and um, have social, interaction issues. Or you can go the other way and loud and life of the party. And um, these days, it's kind of here I am. Yeah,
like me as I am, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm here. Yeah.
Right.
How about you?
Um, I feel like I'm loud. Um, I'm very about my people, right? So, um, you can say all the mean things you want about me, and I really could care less. But the second you say something about someone I care about or anything like that, then I'm like, "Hey, no, we're not gonna do that." But I feel like I can talk to anybody.
Mm,
Um, you know, I can just talk. I can find something to relate on, even if it's the smallest little thing. Um, I've just always been that kind of person. I was, at a point, quiet and withdrawn, probably for a lot of years. I lost a lot of friends, didn't hardly see family and stuff like that, due to a not great relationship. Um, but I think I got back out of that, and I think I'm back to me. So, kind of like the opposite. I was loud, went quiet, and now I'm back.
mm. About finding yourself again. and
Mhm. Right.
healing and stripping back. Maybe filters are something we put up to when we hurt and out of healing. So if we can strip back some of those filters.
Right.
Yeah. I just love your idea of just say it. Yeah, just say it. Say it how it is, yeah, right?
Mhm.
If we
And
just did that
and
all of it.
I'm pretty much that's like me, right? Like sometimes I'm like, especially even at work, like I'm a professional. Like sometimes I'm just like, I really don't know how to say this professionally, but I'm going to try to say it as best as I can. No, I don't use swear words or anything like that sometimes, but when I can't find my professional sentence that is well written, I'm like, this is what I'm feeling right now, and this is what we need to do, but I don't know how to say that. And then it's like, oh, okay, this is how we probably should have said that, but it's okay, I got you. But I think there's having filters is good at sometimes, right? Because otherwise, I probably would never have a job if I didn't have filters. But um, when is it too much, right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I'm learning even at my age now to do it, and do it professionally because I have a little bit of yeah. I, without the colourful language, yeah.
Mhm,
I work for myself now, so but that doesn't mean that you can have always the colourful language. But I get what you mean. It's different in a professional environment, right? So,
mhm.
um, but in your personal life, sometimes a well-timed, colourful language is okay too.
I I have colorful language in my personal life, and it is what it is. Again, take me or leave me.
Yeah, and I love what you said earlier too about come at me all you like, but come at a loved one. Yeah, you're gonna know. You're gonna know I'm around, right?
Right. Hmm.
You're
You
gonna
thought I
hear.
was loud before. Now I'm really gonna be loud.
You're gonna hear my voice loud and clear.
Hmm.
You're
Yeah.
gonna know I'm about for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now that you're here where you are, you said you're working for yourself now. Um, do you ever feel like maybe like just thinking back, I know sometimes like when we go through things like we feel like not like it's not real, but like, do I actually deserve this? Like, is this like I worked hard for this, but like, is this what I deserve? Am I supposed to be doing this? Do you have any feelings like that or have you had them previously?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, some sometimes I stop and think, do I is am I meant to be here? How did I get here? How did I get here so quick? Um, and yeah, why me? Why me? Why me in a good way, in a positive way?
Mhm,
Uh, and then I remind myself that I've worked hard as well at doing this, and that I've been, put in this spot for a reason to help others, and that the message that I need to send out there is to help others. It's not about me. It's obviously it's about me to learn and provide that message to others. But most definitely, I go, how did I go from working a 9 to 5 to doing this? And then I remind myself I've had help. I've had help from community. I've had help from a really great mentor. I've had, yeah, I've put things in place to make this work. And that gives me clarity and what I need to. But definitely, you're right. Yes, I've had moments of guilt about it. Again, why am I doing so well? Why? Well, I think subconsciously, Ali, I just set out very early on when I heard all the whispers from how I was meant to be, that I was determined I was never going to be that.
mhm. And I think one of the podcasters that I interviewed earlier, she said there's a story about two brothers, and their dad was like a drunk or something. One of them became a super successful like CEO, and the other followed the same path. And I think that's powerful, right? Like, even though you were around that environment your entire life, you were told this, you saw this, you have two choices. Do you continue on what you know because you're comfortable? Or do you step out and say, that's exactly what I don't want to be? So I'm
Mm.
going to do this. And that's what you did.
And it takes time and lessons. I don't like the word mistakes. I call it life lessons. To me, you either, you just learn. I think it's learn. Yeah, you don't make mistakes. I don't like failure. I think it's learning. Everything's learning. You live and you learn. It's as simple as that. You win or you don't lose. You win or you learn. Okay, that didn't work out. Um, let's try something different. It's like the word should. I don't like it. Could, maybe we could do something different.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what I've taught myself along the way.
I think
Yeah,
it's just, that's good because it's like a different, you're kind of flipping the script, right?
yeah.
So I think that could be actually
Could,
very helpful. Yeah.
yeah, could. Opposed to should instead of. Uh, Language has a big part in our internal dialogue, what we tell ourselves. I read something
I
the other
kind of,
day that the person you're going to spend the most time in your life with is yourself, right?
very true.
Be careful of the dialogue, the inner dialogue, and the inner critic.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of the inner dialogue, inner critic, um, when you're going through guilt, do you ever have a time where it kind of makes you silent? You kind of close off and you really get into yourself. And now you're hearing that inner critic. And
Mm.
if you do, how do you get out of that?
I get there for a bit, and it's crazy loud, and also I just want to touch a little bit, Ali, on um, culture and guilt and religious guilt. Just 2 seconds on it, because I know that's a whole
Yeah.
different subject, but um, also that place, to be brought up in a different culture and different religion, there's also that on top of it. So when you go to, step out of something and say, no, I'm going to do that different, well, that's not quite how, we were told to do that as children, but then you remind yourself that you're an adult now, so you step out of that. But I spend time, and it's quite noisy up there when I'm in a critic, in a dialogue. No, 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 no. And it's exhausting. And then I remind myself that, oh, this is energy draining. This is zapping. Is this really working? My Mercurian brain, and it analyze. I need to analyze everything, and I pull everything apart. And then once I realize I've pulled everything apart, and I'm so tired, then I get out of it. But I pull everything apart. I twist. I turn. I upside down, and then I just, okay, I'm done with it. Once I've done that. But it's very loud and very chaotic up there while I'm doing it.
Right. Right. Mine is the same way. I call mine a merry-go-round though, that I can't get off. It just goes faster and faster and faster the more that I'm up there and the lights are bright and the music's
Oh,
loud
wow.
and
I love that
yeah.
analogy. Going around and around and
Just
around.
yep.
Do
And
you
it's
spend a
just
lot of time there?
not as much as I used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just working through it, trying.
I remind myself, oh, this is making me feel very tired. And I go, no, I don't want to feel tired. I do what I need to in that space, and I go, okay, pack it away.
Right. I feel like I know where the emergency stop button is on the carousel now. Like
Ah,
so like I'm like, "Oh, I think I'm about to hop on, but
I
I
love
know
that.
that I can get off now, so
Oh, Ali, I love that. That is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I think if we spend too much time there, we can get stuck there, right?
absolutely.
Oh, I
It's
love
very
that
easy.
emergency button analogy.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
And, let's see here. What have you learned about the difference between guilt and responsibility?
Uh, Guilt and responsibility. Two very different things. Two very
Mhm.
different sides of the coin. Guilt is something that it's not something that I can not change. That's not the right word, but and it's not that it's not real because it is real, but it's not something that is fruitful or um, helpful. Or, I mean, don't get me wrong, if there's something to feel guilty about, we'll sit there for a period of time and go, oh, that wasn't good. I could have done that better, or apologies, or sorry. Yes. Responsibility is, I'm, mm, they could be this, it depends, I guess, in the scenario, because am I responsible for, so this is my analytical,
Mhm.
am I responsible for feeling the guilt of something I didn't do? I suppose they have similarities and differences. It's, um, am I responsible for doing that task or doing something to that person? Or am I guilty of not doing something to the person? Or, yeah, it's not really answering your question, but they could have similarities and differences.
I think sometimes those 2 words we kind of associate together,
Mm,
and at first, like, you did exactly what I thought. I'm like, "Well, those aren't even close together." Like, guilt is over here and responsibility is over there. Then once you think about it, you're right. Am I responsible? Is the guilt I'm feeling, am I responsible for that? Did I do that? Or is the guilt I'm feeling coming from somebody else? Not
mm,
necessarily it's not real, but, like, is this my real guilt?
mm,
Like,
mm.
you're feeling guilt because people were telling you you were gonna be nothing, but you're not responsible for that.
No.
That's not your guilt that you should be responsible for.
Yes. Yes. Or the guilt, like I was just saying before, we ate meat on Good Friday,
Yep.
right? We're supposed to
Mhm.
eat fish, and oops, I accidentally ate meat. Is that guilt? I know it's a different kind of example, but is that guilt? Is that responsibility? Is that someone else's guilt projected on me?
Right.
I forgot that I was. It's a silly example in a way, but
It's
it's
true,
a
though. I feel the same way.
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, crap, it's Friday.
yeah,
You know what? Well," and then I'm like, "Wow, why do I feel bad?"
yeah.
Right?
So is
It's
it my responsibility not to eat the meat, or am I feeling guilty that I accidentally forgot and I ate it? Yeah, yeah.
I think it's different, like, something simple as that, right? Did I intentionally eat the meat? No. Therefore, I should not feel guilty.
That's right,
But if
because I
I
forgot.
intentionally was like, "Hmm, it's Friday, I can't eat meat, but I'm gonna have bacon," then yeah, I should be responsible for that and that guilt that I may or may not feel.
Mm.
But
And
it's
I
really
just
hard to distinguish.
exactly, exactly, and that's why we end up in that inner dialogue, right?
Mm,
And I was just thinking that I minimized what I said, oh, because that's a silly example. I went straight into minimization there. It's not that it was a silly example. It was like, oh, I better minimize that because I thought, oh, if it's if your decision not to eat meat on Friday, that's different to someone else professing at you, isn't it? Like you just said, if Friday and I decide for whatever reason, personal belief, whatever, you don't want to eat meat, then that's on on myself, yourself. But if it's someone else projecting that on the, you can't do that. That's a whole different gig, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Similarities and differences.
Right.
You own it, or is it yours to own, or is it like we talked about my story originally, like you said, was that professed onto me? Was it interesting?
But even now, the guilt that was projected onto you, you're still carrying that.
Mm,
So it doesn't matter in a sense. Um, we carry other people's guilt. We carry other people's emotions, whether we realize it or not. And I think that's part of the reason why you have to talk about things,
mm,
because sometimes just seeing it for somebody else's point of view just might just open up a little bit, and you're like, you know what? Forget that. I'm just gonna drop that off back there and keep going.
mm. Yeah, I love that. It's opened up such a great conversation. Is this mine, or is it someone else's?
Mhm. Of course, when you're in the moment, you can't think like that, but
Uh,
you get
mm,
to a good moment.
mm.
I
You're so
find when I
right.
write things down, it's easier.
How much do we carry? And sometimes not even realizing, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Um, so how has all your hard work over these years, helped with the guilt?
Self acceptance, self compassion, inner dialogue check, self love, and constantly checking, self check, and it, that again realizing that energy sapping. Oh, what are people thinking, or what's happening, or why don't they like me, or it just takes up so much brain space, and just being cognizant and aware of what that's doing to myself, mentally and emotionally and physically, because it has such a total body and environment effect that you can't think what someone else is thinking, because we don't know. We don't know. So
Sure.
without being overly self-absorbed, but being more aware of thyself
Right.
and what's important to me and my values, and being true and honorable to my own values. Am I being a good person? Am I doing the best I can for others? Am I being the best person and showing up for my family and doing the best I can for everyone and the people I care about? And not falling, into what does it matter what stereotypical we were, come off as, because I have a brother that went to university and got a computer science degree, that he must have got money thrown at him from the government. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Does it really matter at the end of the day? No,
No.
no, no.
So seems like, you know, maybe now that you're more aware, you're loving yourself, you're really taking that time. Probably not a whole lot of guilt. It's never gonna go away, of course, but not consuming you. You're not being held back by that.
No, no.
And then I guess, what advice would you give someone who maybe has been told that they weren't gonna be anything, or they feel guilty that maybe they're finally breaking that generational curse, if you will, and going to make something of themselves while they watch the rest of their family do the same?
Keep going. Be true to your dream. Get it. Follow your dream. But whatever your dream is, um, my dream is to go on and travel the world and help people like we're talking about here today with Ali, doing wonderful work, talking about being unfiltered. Be you, be true to you, be true to yourself. There'll be distractions like Ellie and I've talked about today. I talk to my mentor about this quite regularly, and she says the universe is testing you today. Someone's testing you today. Whoever you believe in, your higher power, universe, God, someone will be testing you each day that might be trying to drag you back. Listen if you need to, like Ellie and I have talked about merry-go-round or energy, but listen if you need to for a moment, and then keep moving forward. Take another step forward. Some weeks it might be a step back, but keep knowing that you can do it. You can keep moving forward. Love yourself. Some days are harder than others. Quotes. Have a hot bath, bubble bath, whatever your panacea is to escape what. The hot bath doesn't work for everyone. I think I last about 2 minutes in a bath because I haven't got the patience. Mine is I get out and go for a walk. Or I go to the gym. I put some music in and blast it so loud in my ears, like my earpods, so I can't hear anything, for an hour. Take some time, breathe, and do what works for you that's reasonably, healthy. Some people think escape is go to the pub and sink, 20 beers. If whatever works for people, but do something that's good for your soul, for your heart and soul, and have your vision forward. And it doesn't always, work in a month or 6 months. It takes years. Yeah, and but it does fall into place. Everything does fall into place. And seek help. Seek help and listen to podcasts. When I don't have the music blasting in my ears, I listen to podcasts when I'm out walking. I just finished the Let Them Theory with Mel Robbins. It took me a long
Oh, I
time.
love her.
Yeah. It took me months because some days I can listen to her voice, some days I can't. And I got guilty because I thought, I've had that book since May on my Audible. Why haven't I finished it? Well, I just didn't feel right some days to listen to her. Some days I needed Steve Tyler blasting in my ears, Aerosmith. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I don't need to feel guilt because I finished her book the other day and I feel good about it now. Go with your
Right.
heart. Go with your heart. Sink into your heart. That's my advice. Keep being true to you.
Those are all really great ideas.
Yeah.
I like that because music is I if I'm sad, I need to put on my sappy Adele and sing all the way to work as loud as I can. If I'm mad, well, we can go from anywhere from hard rock or rap, depends on how mad I am, I suppose. And the last thing I want to do is listen to somebody talk.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I feel
If I'm
that.
frustrated and my limbic brain is going, last thing I want to do is listen to someone. Sometimes I just need to listen to AC/DC belting just to get that, and walk for an hour to get that adrenaline out. And then there's other times, I might listen to something really soft. I'm feeling okay, but sometimes when I need that adrenaline, or I'm chasing the dopamine or whatever might be happening on the day, um, go with it. Go with it. As long as it's reasonably healthy. I'm not one to preach. If whatever works for you, but try to be good to yourself and yeah, make it as healthy as you can. Yeah.
Right.
So even 10 minutes of sunlight can have a positive effect. I know with us with winter at the moment, it's a terrible day here today. We're not getting enough vitamin D. Sometimes I just go outside and get 10 minutes of vitamin D, and it can just trigger your brain to think differently. And for people working 9 to 5 that are starting, you may want to start your own business. You may, whatever your dream and your heart is telling you to do, know that it will happen. It will happen. Some people are raising children and their dream may be just somewhere on the side at the moment, but it will happen. It will happen. Whatever it is that, you want in your life, it will happen.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and how you're helping people?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Alex. So At the moment, I'm just finishing off my first book, a series of 5.
Mm.
And yeah, very busy time. I've got an excellent mentor. She's helping me with so much. I did a keynote speech on Wednesday around when we settle for this will do. We tell ourselves in life, this will do, when it won't do. And we know there's so much more out there. Again, is that self-sabotage, things like that. I mentor women transitioning into the midlife clarity. I don't call it midlife crisis. I call it midlife clarity. And I call it second act. And women who are transitioning out of divorce. So that's what I do. So my book coming out it's going to publish very soon. It's quite exciting. So it's all about my journey through childhood, marriage, and coming out the other side and divorce, and starting again pretty much with a blank page and writing my story in my colour pencil for the first time in my life and finding my own identity. So that will be out in about the next 3 weeks. Yeah.
Awesome. And where
Yeah.
can people find that?
They can find it on my website. I can send you the link if you like, Ali. It has got a
Yeah.
swear word in it, just to warn people in the cover.
Okay.
So yeah, but
I love it. Unfiltered.
it is unfiltered. Yes. Yeah, so I do photo shoots around body image for with women. I do lots of self-love and finding yourself and bringing yourself home. Yeah. And that's what I do. That's me.
I like it.
Midlife clarity.
I
I
like it.
think, I think sometimes, not just women, men, we get to an age where we've grown up, got married, done a lot of things, and then gone, oh, what now? What now? What's happening now? What happens with my life now? Hit 50 and over 50. And so it's exciting. It's exciting. Yeah.
That is
And
exciting.
I'm always thankful for the history in my life, because it got me to where I am today. Some of it painful, some of it great. And yeah, I mentor people around going through it, because it's not all, rainbows and bubbles when you start a new chapter in your life. There's some long, lonely nights where you're there on your own, and yeah, so that's me.
Great. Yeah, so if you just send me your stuff
Yep.
in an email, I'll just copy it over so they can all find you.
Yep.
Is there anything you want to leave with anybody or anything we didn't cover?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered it well. Yeah. Just love what you do. I love that it's unfiltered. Just thinking my quote that I came up with this week. Maybe I'll leave with a quote. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So hang on, let me get this right. So the day she stopped asking for permission and she finally heard her own voice for the first time, she never turned the volume down again.
That's a good one.
Mm. That's
Yep.
my new quote that I've come up with.
I like it.
Yeah. And of
It's
course,
powerful.
yeah. And you can relate that to everyone. Find your voice, speak up, unfiltered, baby.
Absolutely. I love it.
All right, Ali, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.